Alright, timestamp is May 15th, 2026. It's about 11:40 p.m. So, today we went and saw my dad. Took care of his rent. Checked in with the head nurse there, the psychiatric doctor. Do my 4-park Disney mug today, I think. When the investigations started regarding my mom basically neglecting my dad and getting treatment and all that, one of the DCF agents that was looking into the case essentially made some side comments that it was clear to her that I wasn't that close to my dad. And that she thought I might have ulterior motives for getting involved and trying to do things. And what I tried to explain to her was, it's not that I'm not close to my dad. Truth be told, I always connected more with my mom. I had more in common with her. Yeah, she was a voice major bookworm. She didn't do theater. She always wanted to. And that was one thing that we had talked about, because we both like Neil Simon plays. And this is years ago. We talked about how fun it would be to do Barefoot in the Park. With her actually playing my mother on stage. In the film version, me playing the Redford part, the stick in the mud husband, and her playing the stick in the mud mother. If you know the show, the film, you know what I'm talking about. We talked about how much fun that would be. You would never get my dad to do anything even remotely close to that. My mom was in the church choir. You know, you would never get my dad to do that. He'll sing in the congregation, but, you know, that, no. You know, my dad would say things like, you know, hey, I'm going to be working on the 76 Volkswagen tomorrow. You want to help? And it's like, he always asked, and I never could figure out really if he was, like, joking. Because I'm like, Dad, I've got class and then I've got rehearsal. Oh, yeah. Worlds apart, you know. But it's not that I wasn't close to my dad. We just were very different people. And I know, because I was very distant, standoffish when the investigation was going on, the DCF agent in question, and she was also the one that was very dismissive and said, you know, he's an old guy, he's an old vet, he's got guns, it's no big deal. Whereas the other DCF agent was going, yeah, he's an old guy with guns. He's also paranoid and having hallucinations. And there's no one here watching him. I don't care if it is Florida, that sounds serious. that sounds like something could go wrong. You know, it wasn't that I wasn't close to my dad, it was that I could see him breaking and it was killing me, and I didn't want to observe it. You know? I'm going to butcher the line, but there's a line in Noises Off by Michael Caine. And he talks about how, you know, no one minds watching an automobile crash. The trouble is, it's my automobile. I'm watching my automobile crash. And that makes it a little bit hard to look at. Yeah, exactly. So, visited with my dad for about an hour today. We've gone, we think, back further in time. I think I'm still his cousin. He doesn't know who Kelly is. He doesn't know who Pix is. He doesn't fathom the idea that he has grandchildren. He's never heard of Sandy, which is my mom. We asked if Sandy had come by, and he was like, who is that? And he said there was a girl he was interested in, but he didn't think it was going to go anywhere. The thing that had him the most upset was he hadn't seen his folks in 2 years. They hadn't been by to see him while he was wherever he is. It had been 2 years. Now he has been where he is for almost a year now. Not right at a year. And his parents have been dead for 53 years. They died when I was like 1. So, whereas the last week we were here, we think it was about 1968. He had the things that we can establish. It really is like picking apart a mystery, an improv game of sorts. So much stuff in the way right now. That's good. Pretty sure it was 1968. He had just gotten back from Vietnam, and he had been dating Sandy for about 2 years and was thinking about marrying her. Which, again, history-wise, they actually dated for about a year and did get married. It wasn't 2 years dating, yada, yada, wibbly wobbly, right? Oi. Be so impatient. That's not nice. Right now, you sit pretty. Now go. You are your treat. See, my dad would never do that. My mom would do that, but she would do more like an Italian or a Spanish or a French accent. She never could get the British dialects down. But she had trained in opera too, so yes, my mom actually was kind of trained as an opera singer. Classical voice. More like my mom than my dad. So today, yeah, we think it was early 60s. Because he kept talking about how they were saying he might go to Japan, or that he might go to India. He might go to Asia. You know, they were still talking about it. Which to me tells me he had been notified, drafted, whatnot, but hadn't been told where he was going yet. So that puts it 64, 65. He hadn't met my mom yet. He met her when he got back. His parents were still alive at that point. Having River Song flashbacks. The whole meeting out of order thing. But yeah, he had no idea who Kelly was. And Kelly, she caught herself afterwards because it was kind of a, what am I doing? This is stupid, you know. But she was like, you know, we've been together for 30 years. And my dad couldn't fathom the concept of it, and I think it's because in his eyes I was his also 20-something-year-old cousin. I can't have been with a girl for 30 years. I'm only, 23 or whatever. Right? How does that work? This sucks. Still got all his bags packed. He's being very, very magpie, very... Pix privately called it klepto, but like any of the little pudding cups, he's keeping those because he's always used those as like seed starters and stuff for gardening. He's like, when I get out of here, I can garden again. I want to get some property down, not on the hill, down further our street, which our street in Pennsylvania, one of the family homes, if you will, was like on a hill. And there wasn't a lot of land there to actually farm or garden. So he wants to get a place further down the street that's flatter and has more land to garden and stuff. Again, we're in the 60s, but it's earlier than 68 now. And I heard that there was regression and whatnot, but I didn't realize it was going to be quite so literal. So he's got a couple of like giant pillowcase rucksack bags full of like little plastic cups that he's been saving, and very, very magpie. You'd think he was building a nest. His Trimble's worse. He's really having a hard time walking. His hearing is worse. His comprehension of the words coming in is a lot spottier. You can say a basic sentence and he's not quite, the ball is very, very large and blue. The ball is, it's blue? Is it the color? He seems to be kind of grasping for definitions and clarity on things he's told, which I know language skill breakdown is a major part of the brain breakage with the dementia. I'm seeing it in real time though. It's not just, bullet points on a page explaining things that will happen. It's me seeing the translation of them in real time with my dad. I'm not going to say that I wasn't prepared for this. I knew what was to come. Seeing it's really hard. And it's one of those things that if I could skip it altogether, honestly, I think I would. Just because it really hurts to see him like this. But I need to make sure he's being treated okay. And in the eyes of the court, they expect me to do that as his guardian. It sucks. It is hugely sucks. This is it's kind of the emblems of the 4 parks of Disney World. That is the Harry and David milk chocolate caramel. It's good. Yeah, Vic's tried to tell him. We actually asked him, what year do you think it is? And he wouldn't answer it. He was just, I don't know. When she said it was 2026, he was like, 20, what? Very much a does not compute kind of thing going on there. Which, if in his brain it's the 60s, the idea of anything starting with 20, that wouldn't make a lot of sense. This is all very Ripley waking up on, was it Liberty Station? Station that was built after she had gone out into deep space. Of course, she's not going to recognize the place, right? Obviously, I'm working on that booth. This will be the final booth. Kind of going to go really close to where the colors meet, but not right up on it, because then I'm going to use the smaller brush to get in there and do the more detailed stuff. Be a lot easier to do it that way. I can do big broad strokes in areas where the color won't conflict. I'm going to do this, doing my check-in, health check-wise. Hard to know where the health conditions end and the anxiety begins. Do I feel okay? Well, let's take that question apart a little. My chest is tight. I've got a little bit of shallow breathing going on. So is that emphysema knocking on my door and saying, hey, take me seriously? Or is that like the shadows of a panic attack that I've been in pretty much all day? Yeah, I just got up recently. Got back to Leonardo Station here. Oh, and since I've got some new people that are asking questions, which is totally cool, by the way, Leonardo Station. Okay, so my wife is currently at George Station. It's what we've called these places for years now. Um, it's like a family joke. Our house in Hillsborough County is in an area of streets where all of the street names are named after like early presidents, like 1776 kind of people. You know, Hancock, Adams, Franklin. You know, it's all like if they signed the Declaration, there's probably a street somewhere nearby that has their, and we're in an area that has like a George Washington theme. George Station. This place, it's in Pasco County, and this whole area has every pocket has like a tree or an animal influence in their street naming. And where we are currently, um, everything is turtle and tortoise themed. And it's like Shell Lane. I mean, it's just Tortoise Drive. I mean, it's all very much like that. Um, so, because we are big giant dorks, we kind of went TMNT with it. Because it got confusing when you say, I'm going to go to the house. Which one? So, we named them. Because it makes it easier for conversation. So, there's George and there's Leonardo. Ta-da! Mystery solved, right? This is even when my parents were like alive and active. We called it George and Leonardo. Just because, Dad would say, yeah, I'm going to pick up the kids and then I'm going to go over to the house. Which house? Exactly. Exactly. That was my head exploding. But yeah, we got home, we got here, Leonardo, after seeing my dad and braving the afternoon traffic. A couple stops on the way back that we had to do. And I fried up a couple of burgers for everybody. And Pix and I just kind of sat here and reflected on the boring events of the day. We took turns holding back crying. She's pretty upset because she's been forgotten. I think what she's not realizing is, obviously, in my mind, so have I. I'm being talked to like I'm a friend because I'm his cousin. I'm not his son. He doesn't have a son. I've been forgotten too. Again, knew this day would come. My improv training is helping it sit better with me, I think, than if I hadn't ever done that. But nonetheless, my dad has forgotten me. If you haven't been through this before, number one, I hope you never do. Number two, let that sink in for a minute. You talk to your parent for about an hour, and they talked to you, but they thought you were someone else because your actual identity doesn't exist. that happened. Yeah. I mean, I'll be okay. I have to be, right? Just gonna keep doing the work. Very Capricorn, right? It's one thing that I know has to get done, that I can count on, where my identity doesn't matter. And again, it has to get done. So, I may enjoy a little wallowing in self-pity, but I'll do that later. I'll pencil it in for, some other day that ends in Y. I heard the first four. Scraps, I gotta get through, bud. Okay, sit there and stare at me. I'm gonna get through here anyway. Planted behind my stool, in between the stool and the boxes that are there. Come on. Move your butt. Oh, now you move? Such a jackass sometimes. Alright, little guy. Oh, you got it? I'm gonna drop that. Oh, did I inconvenience you, Scrappy? I'm so sorry. I feel terrible. So yeah, from a health check standpoint, emphysema or panic attack? I don't know. You know? I think it's panic attack or anxiety or whatever you want to label it, because of the events of the day. That's my thought anyway. It's one thing. You would never, ever get my dad to do some of the monkey shit that I've done on stage. Like Rocky Horror. Oh my God, no. I can't even fathom that. And they didn't come to see that show. I kind of warned them off on that. Kind of the... Because they came and saw Rent when we did Rent. And they struggled with some of the thematics in that. Very old school, conservative peeps. So some of Rent was actually hard for them. My mom has seen me play gay characters on stage before. So that part I don't think was as difficult for her. I think it was a little tricky for my dad to navigate. But my dad usually came to my shows. Back in my teens, 20s, whatnot. He came out to my shows, which was pretty cool. Both my parents did. They were together. They came to my shows. So even though my dad didn't quite speak Marcus, Dad would still go to shows of Marcus. But yeah, they weren't sure how to handle Rent. They were impressed. They thought the performances were all very good. My mom was impressed with my voice. She's like, "You sounded really good. You sounded really good." Yeah. But I played Collins, so I'm gay. I have that Stanley Tucci thing going on. I'm a very straight dude, but I'm a rainbow ally. Trust me on this one. A lot of theater. Half of my friends are like military, ex-military. The other half are somewhere beyond the rainbow. My circle of friends is pretty diverse, and if you were to get them all in the same room, they'd probably actually get along as long as they could, not get catty. Most of them do know each other, and they're more friendly than you might think. But yeah, no. I play some gay characters, it would seem. I don't know, Colbert was asking Stanley Tucci about this on his show the other day. It was a very short-lived show. Coming after the bards. Coming after the truth tellers. That's what this is. That's why they want Kimmel's head. Anyone who can carry a mirror is a danger. Right? My political rant for the day. It's true though. Truth tellers, especially ones that laugh at them, very unwelcome viewpoint. Exactly. But yeah, Colbert had asked Tucci, you're married, you're a family man, why are you always playing gay characters? I can't answer that one either. First time I did it was I was 18. 17. You gotta pick something. There you go. 17 or 18. And I didn't audition for the part. I had no intention of playing the part. I was actually stage managing that particular show. And I was stage managing the show for my director's daughter, who was directing her first production, I think. Somewhere in there. This is like 87, 88. Little one-act British comedy called Black Comedy. I was stage managing it, and 2 weeks before opening, one of the actors became an alcoholic and dropped out of the show. And I got basically tagged, "You're it," into the show, and had to take over the part. Yeah, my girlfriend came to the show. We had a hilarious, and I don't remember the details of it, I just remember it was a hilarious and awkward conversation after the play. It kind of started out with, "Is there anything that you want to tell me?" That I'm kind of hungry and looking forward to Steak and Shake, because I like those garlic doubles. You want to talk about something else, apparently. What was that? What's on your mind? And so it began. I don't know. Find it hilarious. I find it absolutely hilarious. But yeah, my mom always thought it was actually kind of funny as well. My dad, not sure how to feel about that. I made you grandchildren, okay? I made you grandchildren. Even if I'm gay, I'm still doing the right stuff for you as a conservative dad person, okay? Just go to church, pretend your son's normal, it's okay. He can't be queer, he has kids. See, how easy is that? That explanation never really helped my dad either. That just made him more like, I know, it didn't help matters. I know. It's okay. What's going on right now, though, I'm actually trying to support my dad's brain. I'm not trying to confuse him. It's just doing it all by itself. And I can't fix it. I wish I knew my character's name. I know my dad's dad had brothers, and I'm willing to bet that some of those brothers probably had sons. So I'm probably one of them. But Dad never really talked about his family. He talked about his mom and his dad and his sister. Sister was a couple years older. She's gone too. Everybody in his family is gone. Everybody's gone. The dead Dave, everybody's dead. I mean, it's... yeah, they're all gone. So there's like no one to call. I can't call anyone and go, hey, so he thinks I'm his cousin. Who do you think I'm supposed to be? I'm apparently from Seaver. That was Brian? Brian lived in Seaver back in the 60s? Okay, cool. Alright, thank you, man. There's no one to make that call to. Yeah, you're either Brian or maybe you're Norman. I don't know. It's one of the two of them. But they were both in Seaver till like 72, 74, somewhere in there. I got no... there's no one to pick up the magic banana with. So... and every time we ask, Pix will be like, who is this? It's my cousin. It's like, oh, we wanted a name. It's my uncle's kid. Okay, we narrowed it down. I'm not his aunt's kid, I'm his uncle's kid. Nothing. I guess we'll keep trying. I want to know what my character is. Done improv, I can make this up as I go along, and clearly I am. Because I am in unfamiliar waters. Oh. Okay. So yeah. Thought I'd do my check-in. I still don't know what kind of channel this is. Welcome to my world, though. So, hug your parents. Hug your kids. And make it a great day.